Hello, people. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk, and we're here. We've got a big weekend packed for the Fury Uysk fight. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm happy we got the gang together for this big fight weekend.
Definitely. How are you, Spencer?
I'm all right, man. I'm doing good. I'm hoping you guys are doing well also.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Let's kick off. First thing I'm going to talk about is the Uysk Fury fight, the rematch. This is for the WBO, WBC, IBO, and WBA. Right. Who think Fury came in at apparently 281, but he was wearing a jacket?
Really?
Yeah, and the Usyk weighed at 228 pounds from what a source from what somebody told me. So, what's going to happen in this fight? Who wants to start?
Go for it, Spencer. Let's see what you have to say.
Do you think with him putting on the pounds or whatever the case is, he's going to try to go in there and bully Usyk around?
I think so. That's the only reason, unless he just didn't train. But there's a good footage of him training.
Yeah, I think he's going to do a different game plan than he, I guess, was trying in the first one.
Well, he was doing fine in the first one until he slowed down. There's a couple of hard realities we have to face with Fury. First of all, he doesn't have the stamina he used to have. He gets tired, and that's when Usyk can capitalize on him. And
Yeah.
also, he played around too much, so he's going to definitely have to come about this a little differently. He can't just say, forget about it and do the same things. He can't do that. He gave away the first two rounds, and then,
Yeah.
with clowning around, but he doesn't have that stamina, and he's gotten a little chinny.
Yeah, he can't get dropped.
No.
But yeah, I like I said, I suspect he's doing this so that he could tire Usyk out, and Usyk won't be able to have any bursts later on in the fight, and maybe Fury could, maybe stop him. Now, do I think Fury go? All right, I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I'm gonna say Fury's late stoppage.
Okay. It's a possibility. He was dominating him for a while, but he can't get careless. He can't check out. If he checks out, it's going to be a big problem. What do you think, Nathan?
I think Usyk's going to win this fight more convincingly than they did the first one. I'd even go for an Usyk stoppage, to be honest. I'm going to go for the normal. I think Usyk's good enough to put him out of there.
It's a
Okay.
possibility because he almost did it before.
Fury's aura of invincibility is now gone. Now that is gone. I want to see how he reacts. I don't think he's the sort of guy that can take a loss. I think that's it. I think he's out of there for this fight. And John Fury's supposedly not in the corner, which is a good thing.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, he did have his nose broken in the first fight, and then when he got clocked again, but they could have stopped the fight at that point, as far as I was
Yeah, I
concerned.
just think Fury, his aura's gone. He's not the fighter he was. His punch position didn't look as good as it did a couple of years ago. I think he's on his way out. He's still a top fighter. I just think for Usyk, I just don't think he's good enough to beat him.
Well, they're both old, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Usyk
All right, two Usyks.
by decision, not by
Two
knockout. By
Usyks,
decision.
one by decision, one by knockout,
But
and I
it's
got
quite
Fury by
possible it could
knockout.
go the other way. It's possible it can go the other way. But that kind of weight, everybody was saying he dropped weight and he had abs and this and that. But he didn't show off his body. So that's some kind of mental game he's trying to play with Usyk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he could have had some 5-pound weights in his jacket pocket. No.
Yeah,
He's probably playing the trick, but apparently people are saying he's thin. He looks quite thin, people are saying.
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
that's what I'm saying. Like he had the jacket on, he had some weights in the jacket, so when he went on
So
the scale,
that could have added 25 pounds, couldn't it? He could be like
yeah,
255,
yeah,
260.
exactly, exactly.
Who
He come
knows?
in there looking all slim,
Well,
Who knows?
two forty five or something.
if he's actually that weight, then I think he's going to lose.
He
Right?
needs to be at least 270 for the fight, 280. He needs to be all that weight for the fight, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see, man. Uh, I think Usyk, it was such a tight decision. They both didn't know who was going to win.
Mm.
But except for that
Yes.
knockdown, Fury would have won. And then if he doesn't fool around and does what he, and does the successful actions, he will win the fight. But I don't know about the weight thing. If he's 281, then I would say no.
Mm.
We'll see. It's like a 45-55 toss-up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, also on the card,
It's not even worth talking about, is it, this card? It's so weak.
nah, because
What are
what's
the,
it called? Madrimov dropped out of the fight on the card. He
yeah.
was supposed to be the chief support, but he dropped out. The guy he's fighting is still fighting, but
This is a weak card. The only other fight I'd mention is probably Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen, and then there's Moses Atuma. We'll start with Moses Atuma. Moses Atuma is a British heavyweight, fighting Depp Skin. He's a pretty good fighter, this Moses Atuma. This is his first real test.
McKean, yeah, against Atuma, yeah. I've seen
So,
both of those guys fight.
you never know with this. I mean, if Moses is the real deal, he should win this fight. If he's not, then he'll get found out. This is one of them fights.
yeah. I mean, they got a couple of heavyweights on the cards, heavyweight fights on the card, so that's interesting.
So I'm going to go for Atuma and then Johnny Fisher against Dave Allen. I've got to pick Johnny Fisher to win this because Dave Allen's not very good.
No, he really,
Wow.
Terrible. He's terrible.
Fisher should win that. Dave Allen
yeah.
is coming out of retirement again.
No, he's been fighting. He's had 4 fights in the last year and a half.
Oh wow, okay.
He's fighting 6-rounders. He's been fighting 6-rounders against bumpers.
This is 10-rounder, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these fights. I'm surprised they got all of these fights as 10. A lot of these fights as 10-rounders.
Well, Allen gets tired after 6 rounds, so
It will be over in about 2-3 rounds. Allen will Fisher will get him out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah, that should be an easy one.
Yep. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
This card is so weak; it's not even worth mentioning. Right, we'll move on. Pulev wins the WBA title against Manuel Charr in a pretty boring fight, to be honest.
Yeah, it was boring. Well, what did you think of it? You saw the whole fight. What did you think of it?
It was a good Usyk performance, and I mean Pulev's performance. He did the same thing he normally does: grabs and holds and jab. Charr just wasn't skillful enough to get involved, because every time he went forward, he got hit with a jab by Pulev. Pulev was always going to win this comfortably, won it unanimous decision.
Yeah, he doesn't make it an entertaining fight, but he did the job.
Well, he's the
Jab
second
and
oldest
grab.
heavyweight champion in the history of boxing.
Yeah, jab and grab.
Yeah. It finally got him a world title after all those attempts. I mean, what do you think, Tom?
Well, that's what we predicted, if I recall. I said that he would keep him at the end of the jab and make him try to come in and then hold him. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, he fought like the big man he is.
But the next subject, this is the same thing. Basically, Jarrell Miller, he's interested in fighting Jarrell Miller. I think that is a bad fight for Pulev. I really do think that's a bad fight. I think Miller has enough to beat him. I really do.
Yeah. He can't really hold on to Miller too much.
You can't hold him to a 310-pound guy.
Exactly. He get tired.
I really think Miller would stop him, or really frustrate him and just knock him out, or drain all the energy out of him.
Yeah.
Miller, unless he's getting hit in the body hard like Dubois was doing, has pretty good stamina.
Yeah. He has proven to me what a warrior is. He's going 10 rounds with a world champion like Dubois, and then, getting in there against someone like Andy Ruiz, a former unified champ. To me, that proves how good he actually is. So that's testament to him, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope he tests clean from now on. You know, he doesn't screw it up.
If Pulev has enough sense, he'll stay well away from Jarrell Miller and just pick somebody else who's not very good, you know, to be honest.
He's a spoiler. He's a spoiler. Yeah, he's a spoiler.
Yeah. If I was managing Pulev, I'd say wait, get an easy voluntary in, then fight someone like Usyk and cash out. Get all your money's worth, you know.
Yeah, if Usyk will fight him. But
if Usyk doesn't fight him, then he'll be elevated to super champion, which is not what we really want to see.
No.
I think if Usyk wins this fight, he's going to retire.
He should.
He has nothing to prove after this if he wins.
Right,
let's he ain't
move
gonna fight Dubois again.
Nah.
There's a big rumor going around that Klitschko is coming back, and it's against Lawrence Collier. Obviously, this is just a rumor, and I'm thinking that's really not a good fight to come back to. You want an easier fight than that if you come back. I mean, I think Klitschko would beat Coley, but I just think, I mean, Coley's, if you see him in his last fight, he's now walking around at 260 pounds in his last fight.
Need to give it up. Yeah,
200
need to give it up.
Well, he won by knockout. He won by knockout.
Yeah, but the guy he fought was nobody. Could you imagine being 200 pounds and the next 3 months later being 260 pounds? He didn't even look muscular. He looked fat. He didn't look fat, but he didn't look good, you know?
That wouldn't give you enough time to like acclimate to the weight gain, because you got to get adjusted to all of that weight.
I mean,
and be able to move around and
from Bridgeweight. So his ideal weight is probably 230, 220, 227, 230, not 260.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. If he fought even a guy in the top 30, he would lose.
I don't see Klitschko coming back. I just don't see it.
It doesn't make any sense, does it? Why would he need to? He's made his money. He's already one of the third greatest heavyweight champion in terms of defenses, you know, behind Joe Louis and Larry Holmes?
Yeah, Larry Holmes.
And
the Eastern Assassin.
Yeah. So you're never going to beat. He's never going to beat Lewis's record. I mean, the fact that he got to 18 defenses is a miracle, really, because obviously the heavyweight division today, if Klitschko were in his prime today, he wouldn't probably make more than 4 or 5 defenses. He'd be like a Joshua is today, sort of thing.
Yeah, he wouldn't have that record if the landscape was different. If it was what it is now. Yeah, 15, he wouldn't have that record. Ago,
he probably would have made about 4 or 5 defenses. Like even when guys like Lewis and all the top guys around, he made 4 defenses of the WBO belt, which wasn't recognised properly. Then it was a low, it was a lower belt. But
yeah, and he was a tall heavyweight, and he's not so
no, but he's not so big now when you look at the other guys.
But towering now. Yeah, he wouldn't be a towering figure in the ring now.
But back then you had guys like Chris Bird and
and
Rathman, yeah.
And Rockman and stuff. They were cool, but it was the size and the way he fought, especially when he got with Stewart.
But back then, the average in 2002, the average like heavyweight guy, apart from Lewis, was about 6'1", 6'2". Even probably smaller than that.
Yeah,
not like the guys we see today.
Yeah, they 6'1", 6'2". They was like two in the 220 range.
Yeah. But you wouldn't get a guy like Chris Bird going up from light heavyweight or super middleweight going up and winning the world title now. You wouldn't get it. I don't think.
Nah. I mean, it would be a WBA regular.
Oh yeah,
but Usyk has done real well. Coming up.
But he ain't come up from middleweight. He ain't come up from middleweight.
Well, I remember when Ike Ibuchi just flattened Chris Bird, just really flattened.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of those guys from that era wouldn't even be top 10 today. They'd be top 20, top 30 if they're lucky. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, anyway, we will. I just think Klitschko's got nothing to gain. Coley's not a big enough name.
That rumor don't seem valid because of what you just said. A Coley don't seem like a name big enough to come back for if he's going to fight somebody. Yeah.
If you go for somebody, you come back for the belts. You have a high because Coley's ranked so high in the WBC. That would be the only reason this fight would be made purely for his ranking.
Yeah, or he could come back and fight Pulev in a rematch.
Yeah, but he'd probably win. He'd probably still win. But the thing is, if you beat a WBC guy who's ranked 5 in the rankings, then because Klitschko's a big name, he could then be considered a voluntary. So in that suspense, it does make sense a little bit, just for his ranking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but
we'll move into something even more pathetic. What's the name of the WBC cruiserweight champion? The guy that got it took off him. Mikelian, yeah. Badu Jack has been reinstated as the WBC champion.
Wait. I thought we were going to talk about Dylan White first.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Dillian White. Dillian White comes back and has won against Ebenezer Tete, which was a shit performance.
Yeah, that was like.
I don't think it was shit. I think he showed a lot of combinations and,
we're talking about a guy that got knocked out in one round by Daniel Dubois 5 years ago when he was a novice. And now we're looking at Dillian White, who can't even beat a guy who should blast out in 2 rounds. Dillian White is shot. His footwork was terrible. His punch resistance is gone. He's got nothing left. He's just a shell of what he was. I actually felt kind of sad for him, really. Even though he got the win, he was winning it, but he won't beat a guy in the top 20. We're dreaming if we think he's going to do that. He's done.
Do you think Eddie would take him back?
For what? As cannon fodder.
Your check call is now due. Your check call is now due.
Just as cannon fodder, what would he be? Forget it. He's probably got that name recognition where he could come back for one fight, but if he continues fighting, he needs to keep fighting these same kind of guys, just so he can get his record up to stay active at this age.
But see, that only works if he's demolishing these guys, that people will think he's back. He's not. Yeah, right. Like you go in the distance with these dudes. A top name would demolish this guy. Like he got to get. Yeah, he got to get either a big name, say maybe Andy Ruiz or something, and maybe beat him. I don't think he could, but
what a waste of talent.
He needs a rematch with Chisora. Chisora would beat him at this point. I believe that.
Yeah. Nah, he can't. That's too dangerous of a fight. Ruiz don't seem to be a killer anymore.
I even think Ruiz would beat him. I think Ruiz would knock him
I think Ruiz probably beat him too.
I don't even think you beat Pulev at this point.
He got to fight Dave Allen.
No,
he got to fight Dave Allen again. Didn't he fight him already?
Rematch with him. And
yeah.
If he wants to make some fucking money, he either chooses Derek Chisora or he chooses Joshua. 2 fights he's going to lose, but he'll make a lot more money.
Yeah.
Go straight to the big fight and then end your career.
Yeah, Daniel Dubois, go for it. Fuck it. He won't make as much money. He'll probably make more money fighting AJ in a non-title fight, though.
Or even Chisora.
Yeah.
Anything other than those guys, forget it. He's not winning any titles. He had his chance. He blew it. He wasted his prime.
Maybe Wilder. Maybe Wilder.
Yeah.
There was always talk of White versus Wilder back in the day. So.
Yeah, but I think that day is at its sunset,
Yeah.
Right, let's move on. Opataya, Jai Opataya has a new opponent.
Right, and I checked out his record. He's got 10 fights with 3 KOs, and he's 6'6". So what he has is height on Opataya.
Is this a mandatory or voluntary?
Mandatory.
I think so. But the guy he was going to fight got injured, so this guy's stepping in.
Okay, because he's IBF. They next guy up.
Yeah,
right.
You can have one voluntary, then you have to fight your mandatory with the IBF, and they're silly rules.
Yeah, and it's that time. All right. Well, we think he got a shot at Opataya?
No.
Although even though he got height.
He's
He's
got
got
height.
6'6".
I've seen this guy fight before, and but he's not on the same level. It's
He
just
don't
the
have no
way.
pop in his punches.
He's got some pop, but he gets hit. You know, I've seen him fight. He got in trouble. I mean, he came back and won. But when you get a
Who?
guy who's more
Oh,
skillful, it's like Opataya. You're going against the guy who's got real, who's an excellent boxer and puncher. It's going to be a
yeah,
slaughter, in my opinion.
yeah.
I mean, you know how
All
those
right,
games
well,
are.
Jai, for the
Right.
win.
Yeah, definitely. In a couple of rounds, he'll flatten the guy.
Now we could go to what you was talking
Right.
about.
The WBC cruiserweight champion has had his belt taken off him, or has been downgraded or champion reason because due to legal issues, due to guess who? Don King is to do with it. So
Co-
the WBC decided to give the belt back to Badou Jack, a guy who hasn't fought for 12 months. What the hell is this?
I'll tell you what it is. It's that, well, maybe we can have a fight and make some sanctioning fees. That's what it is.
But to take a belt off a guy who won that in pretty convincing fashion against a guy who Badou Jack took 12 rounds to beat, to me that kind of sucks, really.
Well, whoever said that sanctioning bodies were not in it for the money, they put him there,
Don King.
and then he's got, yeah, Don King.
well, Badu
And the
Jack,
W.
he gonna be able to fight the guy now.
You know what? If I was the other guy, I wouldn't even bother fighting Jack. I wouldn't even bother fighting for that belt. I would just say stuff the WBC,
Yep.
and just fight for another belt or one of the regular belts,
Right.
That's
I
disgraceful.
mean, yeah, you could switch, especially if he's ranked by any of the other bodies.
I think Badou Jack has always been
Just
a
give
good
him the
boxer.
franchise title.
Right.
He's a bigger
No, I
name
like.
as well, but he's 41 years old. They should have
He could
made
fight
the other
Gilberto.
guy, champion in recess, or they should have given. The only reason they're making it is so he can fight Gilberto. Yeah, it's because he's a bigger name, right? They'll make
Yeah,
more money.
because
It's all about the
they
money.
should have made the other dude at least, if not champion in recess. What's the other thing that they be having, like not the interim, but like I guess it's called that, the silver titleist, the WBA silver belt,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that he'll be next in line.
Or
I'm
they should have
amazed that
made
you could
Badou
keep
Jack the
track of it.
franchise champion.
Franchise, that's it, franchise. They
I
could
don't
have made
even know
him
what any of that
franchise.
means. What the hell
Franchise,
does any of
What-
that mean?
Franchise champion means basically when one of the guys, who was it? Became a franchise. What's his name? The light
Canelo.
heavyweight, the Ukrainian guy. No. There was a guy lightweight that was made that. What's his name? Who's the Ukrainian guy? The lightweight.
Lomachenko.
You know who I'm. Yeah, it was made the franchise champion. So then that's the only way Devin Haney got the belt, because then Devin Haney got the belt as an email. Do you remember? Only because Lomachenko
Yeah, they was
the
calling him
franchise
the
champion.
email champion or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
then he
that's
wound
all.
up beating Lomachenko. So,
Yeah.
Which I don't agree. I don't think he won that fight, but that's okay.
well, hey,
So the dumb thing is, he's been given. I just think the WBC need to look at their standards a bit better.
well, they ain't the only ones. They all need to do that.
Regular belts. And God knows.
IBF probably is the only one that got any leg to stand on as far as following their rules, despite the names. Yeah, despite the names on the list. But
Right, let's move on.
but yeah, that's
not
set up
Badou
for
Jack.
it.
Not Badou Jack. Fuck's sake.
Makabu,
Makabu has
he
moved
moves
down
down.
from cruiserweight to light heavyweight. He's fighting a fight this weekend against
Who's he
Denobo.
fighting?
I know somebody I've never heard of before. It's only like an 8-rounder.
Yeah, he probably got to get his feet wet, light heavyweight. That's a
It's a
big
good move.
drop though.
Doesn't Makabu have 4 losses?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but they're cruiserweight.
Well,
That's a
all the
big
more
drop.
reason.
But I mean, what are they thinking, that he gonna retain his power if he drops? What's that, a
No, because he
25
won't.
pound
Will he?
difference?
He'll lose all his power.
Yeah,
It
that's a
may be just
25.
for this fight. He should be looking to move up to Bridgeweight. That is an easier division than the cruiserweight.
Like him
I
cutting
mean,
25 pounds.
the WBC champion there is Kevin Lorraine, and then there's another guy, a Russian guy, I can't pronounce his name, who's the WBA. I think they should create some more belts for guys like Makabu to go like the WBO, and the IBF will probably get belts there soon.
Yeah, because you figure he'd be more successful if he was to try to gain 10 or 15 pounds as opposed to
He would be, yeah. Rather than
trying
going
to
down a
cut
weight, he should.
25 pounds. Yeah,
So
that's a
him
big
going
drop, and
down
it's
2
late in
weights.
his
Yeah,
and this is late in his career. This ain't like he's
he's
Yeah.
36.
young.
No.
Cutting weight
Unfortunately,
might be
that,
unhealthy.
yeah, I
It
was just
probably
going to
is.
say the same thing. It could be dangerous at this point.
Maybe
You
it's
know?
a catch weight light heavyweight fight. Maybe it'll be
Eh,
like, if he weighs 190 pounds or something, there'll be a catch weight or something. Yeah,
that's a
or a
big ass
rehydrated.
catch weight.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is. That
Canelo did it. Talking
is.
about a guy
It's
that
true.
fights at 168, but then's walking around at 180 or 190.
Yeah, but he ain't catch weighting at 190.
No, he did. Do you remember when he fought Chavez? There was a catch weight of 190 or something, 190 pounds or something.
Nah, it was 164.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he wasn't at super middleweight yet, and Chavez already was, so that was at
But Chavez went
164.
down from like 180 pounds to like he
Right.
lost like
So he
20.
made the weight at 164, and that's all he
Only
wanted. Because
just after losing 25 pounds, yeah, which killed
yeah,
him.
that's all he wanted, so that he could get that $1 million or whatever they paid him.
Yeah.
Right, let's move
What
on
a
to
circus show.
Yeah.
who's felony fighter. What's that all about?
No,
The
you passed Munguia.
Oh, did I? Munguia loses, he gets flattened by surface.
Yeah,
The
did you
French
guys see
guy.
that?
I saw
yo,
that.
yo, it came out of no. I mean, it didn't
Well,
come out of nowhere because Munguia drops his hand. So he drops his hand after he throws the jab because that's what happened. He threw 2 punches, and then the dude came back and just hit him with the 1-2, and he fell and he was out.
we've always said that Munguia eats too many right hands.
God, he
And
does.
and
Yeah,
he got touched a couple of times. And that
yeah,
guy, he changed his timing. And all of a sudden, he dropped both of those hands and came over. And that overhand right was weird the way it came over. It came over like almost like a hook. Like he put
yeah.
his elbow out to the side and he came down, but he caught him perfect on the temple.
And
And
and, and Munguia had dropped him what in the second round, I think it was.
yeah, he almost
Yeah.
had
Almost
him
had
out.
him out.
Yeah. So even the guy only had 20 wins and 3 knockouts. He knocked out Munguia.
I
Yeah,
think if they had a rematch, I think Munguia would win.
yeah. I mean, Munguia was winning the fight, you could say,
Oh
but he
yeah,
got knocked
he
out.
was. Yeah, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah,
Doesn't matter
What
if
happens to
he's
boxing?
fought, he won every round. He got knocked out.
yeah. He got. He could have been winning 11 rounds.
Yeah.
He ain't.
You know what I'm thinking? Canelo would probably want to fight Surface next. That would be an easy fight for Canelo, right?
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that would be to
Wow.
redeem his countrymen.
That's right. There
He
you
let
go.
the French come in and
Has to
beat
have a
up the
serious look at
Mexican
his.
in
No,
Mexico.
he just has to have a real look at his career and where he goes from here. Maybe he should try and move. I don't know. Should he go up a weight or should he go back down to middleweight?
I think he has to avenge this loss if he wants anything to do anything.
He got to work on a few little things that he got to do, but Mookie is good where he's at right now.
I don't think he needs a rematch. I just think he should fight, rebuild his career. He can come back. He's still good enough to win a world title.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, hey, pride to get you. He gonna want to fight this guy to prove that he could beat him.
That it was a fluke.
Yeah,
Which I
that's what
think
he.
it was.
But it wasn't. The guy was trying to set him up for that the whole fight. And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
fought him a couple of times before that.
Yeah,
All
no,
right, okay.
the guy was looking for that punch. He definitely was looking for what he did. And Munguia gave it to him.
He certainly did
Right,
on
so
a
what's
on
the
a
next
plate,
thing?
a
What's the
beautiful plate.
felony
Yeah.
fight about? What's that all about?
The
Felony
felony
fighter.
fighter was the guy that something you said about
No.
the guy going to jail or something.
Oh, that I've forgotten his name. Jeez, that was Florian Marku, a guy who Albanian fighter. He had a bit of a following in England. Not very good. A bit like a Dave Allen of the lightweight of the middle of the welterweight division. His standard, he was like a top 40 fighter, top 50 fighter, but nothing more than that. He's got into trouble. I don't know what for, but the guy's
He
just
got
got.
busted with a gun and shooting somebody with it.
Oh well, he was always a bit of a madman. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, in
Oh, okay.
England, you don't carry guns, right?
I mean, no, this was in Albania, I believe. Did it say it was in Albania you got arrested or England?
I didn't read the whole thing. Hold on, I could tell you right away. But let's see. Boxer faces jail, facing up to 5 years in jail after arrest for wounding and illegal possession of a weapon. The welterweight boxing champion was arrested by police. I didn't know he was a champ. He was
Maybe the
detained
European.
for an incident that happened 7 years ago, and they
Oh, that would
issued
have
a
been in
warrant.
Albania then. That would have been in Albania.
No, it says in Greece here.
Oh, right, yeah, because he lives in Greece as well.
Yeah, he must serve at least 1/3 of the original sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, so he
Wow.
going to jail.
Yeah.
Right, let's
Wow.
move on to what's this Carissa Shields film, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching an interview today with Andre Ward, did a 2-hour interview with her, and it was fascinating. The woman is a fascinating figure, and her
Yeah.
determination is incredible. So hopefully the actress was able to do some good characterizations, and she was there to tell her, you got to train, you got to do this, you got to do that, and
Well,
there you go.
I mean, Carissa Shields is the WBC champion. She is the top star in the women's division. She's at the top of the Premier weight, or not so Premier weight in women's boxing.
Well, she said she's going to fight she wants to unify the heavyweight championship next, and she's been sparring with these big dudes, and that then she's going to drop back down to 154. And
She looks ridiculous at heavyweight. She doesn't look right at heavyweight, even though she's good. I don't think it's good for her to fight there. There's nobody for her to fight. I mean, I'm just looking at the current women's boxing champions. Let's have a look of all the champions on Wikipedia. Right. Let me go back again. Give me a second.
The only knock you could say on her career professionally is there's not as much competition middleweight on up as there is super middleweight going down.
Yeah.
So she didn't have a lot of
she didn't have Ann
contemporaries.
Wolf
It's not
and
her
Layla
fault,
I mean,
though,
Ali.
is it? It's not her fault.
She didn't
I mean,
fight
I'm just
Layla
looking at
Ali and
heavyweight
Ann
division.
Wolf.
I'm just looking at the
yeah,
heavyweight
she didn't have
division.
them around. If
Right.
they would have been around, or those level girls would have been around. Christy, what's her name?
Martin.
Yeah.
Layla Ali as well.
Yeah. He said Layla, Ann Wolf, Christy Martin. Those girls would have, if she could have fought and beat them, she would have definitely been
Right. Situation in the
Great
heavyweight
future
division.
star.
I'm just looking at the list of champions. The WBA belt is vacant. The WBO belt is vacant. The IBF don't even have a women's title by the looks of it at that weight. And the ring magazine's vacant. Even the cruiserweight division, only the WBO belt is vacant there. There's only the WBO belt. She should probably clear up after she's won these belts. The IBF will probably create a belt for her, so she can become undisputed. But there's no motivation there for her to, really. I don't think it don't make much sense.
I mean, because the women really ain't fighting that's that size. Like,
But
there's
do you
not too
think
many women
because?
that size for fighting.
But do you think
Not
because
many.
she's there, the IBF would create a belt because obviously her name is money, isn't it? You know.
Well, she was saying today that, yeah, she can make some money, but it took so long for her to make money. Even after the first gold medal, she didn't make any money. She didn't get any endorsements. It wasn't
So
until
is
the
she a
second
millionaire? Is
one.
she a millionaire or not?
Oh, she's made
Probably
some
now.
money. Yeah, she's made some money, but not that she was talking about Adrian Broner and all the other guys
Yeah.
that she would go out and support. But, she's really had to like learn about the business because, they kind of like, brush the ladies off, in terms of the money and whatnot.
It's
And,
that, yeah.
you know, so she's going to make money on this film.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know if she's one of the producers on it, but it's coming out on Christmas Day. Now,
Yeah.
of course, she's a very religious gal. Her and Andre Ward both, and they were, and so is Roy Jones. They're very much into like, what God wanted her to do, and it's a really nice story. But she's had a very difficult life. Being raped
Oh
at
yeah.
5 years old and coming
Been
through
what?
all that.
Been what
She
at
was
5 years
raped,
old?
yeah,
Oh,
at
bloody hell.
5. And then her mother was an alcoholic, so she went to live with her grandmother. And then nobody wanted to train her, and she went into the gym, and this guy took her in finally.
Yeah.
And so she's really, I got to take my hat off to that woman. She's really, really dedicated to what she does.
And where she come from is not an easy place to get out of sometimes,
Flint,
Where's she
y'all.
Flint,
Flint,
from?
Michigan is not a it's
Flint,
not a
Michigan.
yeah, it's a rough place, y'all.
She was talking about Adrian Broner and the difference between Adrian and Floyd Mayweather. Whereas Adrian, he's a lot of talk and whatnot and smack, but
Mm.
he didn't have the confidence. Whereas Floyd could talk, but he had the confidence and the talent to back it up.
Yeah, and Floyd stayed in the gym, so
Yeah,
I wish
he
Clarissa
worked. He
Shields would
worked
give
for
it
it. That's
this.
what she said.
I wish
He
Clarissa
worked for it.
Shields would give it this MMA rubbish. You know, it's not
Uh,
her. To me, it don't make any sense.
that's
They
the
do.
thing with the money, yo. That's the thing with the money.
Well, she talked about getting her ass kicked by Holly Holm. You know, Holly Holm
In
threw a
what?
kick and cut her nose with her toenail,
Yeah.
and then got her on the ground. And she's going, "What the? What? How do I get out of this?" And she
I don't
lost.
think she has a career in MMA. She's not very good at it. I've seen that she's not very good at it. She should
Yeah.
forget it. To stick to what you know. You know.
She said that she'd fight any one of those people, boxing them and beat them all. She said, but
Yeah.
MMA, you got to learn these 4 different
She
disciplines and
she wouldn't even
Right.
win a
You gotta
title.
be able to grapple, and she's a
wrestle.
striker. She's a striker,
If
obviously.
she fought and the really amateur stuff, you know, the stuff where people are not that good, she'd probably win a world title in one of the lesser organisations. UFC, PFL, forget it. She's not on that level. She's only been fighting in the in the PFL,
Well, she
which
fought in PFL.
yeah,
That's where she was at.
but they've given her rubbish to fight. You know, obviously she's not going to beat the top people in it. She's not like
No,
Francis Ngannou who can box as well. You know.
right. Well, Francis, who
I
is
don't
he going to
know
fight
what to
next?
say.
Who is he supposed to fight next?
Wilder, wasn't it?
Not, I don't know.
Yeah, but it didn't come off. That's right. You're right. So we got the big fight tomorrow, man. That's going to be
Yeah.
interesting.
Right, we will
Yeah.
end the podcast there, guys. We've done everything. We'll
Hey.
be back.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Happy
Hey,
holidays.
you
We'll be
too.
back.
Merry Christmas.
We'll be back on the 3rd or something like that, 3rd or 4th.
All right,
Yeah,
everybody have a great one.
and get yourselves a list together for top of the year, end of the year list.